Hi, this is Lisa Kelly, Notre Dame author and class of 1993, and you are watching the Two Irish Brothers show. Cheers and go Irish!
How's it going, everyone? I am ND Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And together we make up the Two Irish Brothers. Now, Ben, I gotta tell you, man, and I'm sure you've seen plenty of it too, but these past 3 days have been something else, my friend. Looking at so many Notre Dame pages, whether it be message boards, Facebook pages, you name it, even on Twitter. I have never seen a fan base that's actually unhappy about making the playoffs. This is just unreal to me. I have to address this first before we go any further.
It's a very divided fan base right now.
Yeah, it is. It's just unbelievable.
Camps, basically.
The Notre Dame fan base, not all of us, of course. I mean, I've seen plenty of good fans these past 3 days too that are back in the Irish and sticking up for them and all that. But overall, I swear, man, the Notre Dame fan base is the only fan base that I have ever seen unhappy about actually making the playoffs and having a chance to play for a national championship. I mean, and of course, I know that it's because of the opponent that we're playing and the Crimson Tide. But let me just break this down for a second. If this was any other team, like Texas A&M, for example, who was the first team that was on the out looking in, or let's take it a step further than that. Let's talk about Cincinnati and Coastal Carolina. If they made the Final Four, regardless of who the opponent is, do you really think that any of those teams would actually be frowning and unhappy about making the Final Four?
No. And that's, I don't know. It's a head scratcher, if you will. But, yeah, whatever.
I just had to bring it up because it's just so mind-boggling for me to see this. I mean, that's like a professional football franchise saying, no, we don't want to go to the Super Bowl, or MLB team saying we don't want to go to the World Series, or NHL team saying they don't want to go to the Stanley Cup, and so on. It's just these people that I hear and read what they're saying. I'm like, then what are you guys even going to bother watching the game for on January 1st? Why don't you just not watch? I mean, the way these people are talking in our fan base, they might as well just be Alabama fans. Because what else would you watch that game for? What, just to hope that we get blown out so you can come back and say to us, "See, I told you."
Yep.
It's just unreal, dude. I've never seen this with any other college team before.
Yep.
And actually, this is actually pretty funny. I got to mention this real quick. But I actually had a viewer on our last video, the ACC recap and the playoff video, actually say to me the line from Home Alone when the family's leaving the house and they're late for the flight, and Peter and Frank say, or no, it's Uncle Frank says, "There's no on earth we're going to make this plane. It leaves in 45 minutes. Think positive, Frank. You be positive. I'll be realistic." Well, my response is this: the family still made it to the airport, didn't they? Now, granted, this guy pointed out they still forgot Kevin, Sean. Well, you know what? You can thank the Murphy boy for screwing that up. He screwed with the count.
Yep.
Otherwise, they would have got Kevin.
Yep, that's exactly right.
But look, I know, I've gone on too far about this, but I just had to address this. I felt it was necessary. But Ben, that time has arrived. The ACC championship is officially behind us. History, Don't worry about it. As a matter of fact, I will say this too. I had a Clemson fan that was actually more confident than a lot of our fans. But we know the task that's at hand right now. The Rose Bowl on January 1st, but this time from Arlington, Texas.
Yep. Yeah.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, because of COVID. They moved the game to Arlington, so they could actually have fans in the stadium. Um, Notre Dame knows all about Arlington. We will start there. The last time that Notre Dame played in Arlington, they got beat by Clemson in the college football playoff. And I do believe that was a 30-3 victory for Clemson.
Yes, it was.
Correct. Um, so Notre Dame has some motivation right there. Ian Book has some motivation right there. The last time that he was there and they were there, they got beat. And to continue on with motivation, Brian Kelly has a lot of motivation because Brian Kelly knows all about Alabama. Brian Kelly was the head coach when undefeated Notre Dame took on undefeated Alabama in the 2012 BCS National Championship in Miami, and
I was down there for that.
And Alabama came away with a victory, 42-10. I do believe is
14. We did get 2 touchdowns.
14. I apologize. Yeah, so
it matters.
Right. So yeah, there's some motivation right there, and then of course the normal every year Notre Dame motivation. The media doesn't believe in Notre Dame, as we well know. Notre Dame could be undefeated, coming into this game, just like Alabama have won the ACC championship, beaten Clemson twice, and they'd still say that Alabama's going to beat Notre Dame. That's how the media goes. And then of course, the line is 19 points right now for Alabama.
And let's make one thing perfectly clear to everybody watching, even though we're bringing it up, Ben and I don't give a rat's ass about the spread.
No. The spread to me, and the spread will always to me mean nothing. Okay? I don't care about the spread at all. Even if I was betting on the game, I wouldn't care about the spread. But there's that motivation. You have people that don't think that you can do it, that they can beat this Crimson Tide team. So it's going to be very, very interesting seeing what happens.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, the people who aren't Notre Dame fans, we expect them to trash the Irish and go against them. That's not a big deal. But like I said at the start of the video, when you have a lot of fans in your own fan base that are no different than the non-Notre Dame fans, I can't think of I can't think of a better motivation for this team. I mean, to add to it, we just got humbled by Clemson in the ACC championship game, and we covered that already. I mean, I think these were your words. You thought we came into that one a little cocky, but also, like we said, Clemson had our number. They were ready for us. They had made the adjustments. We didn't. So, I get that that's why people are angry and upset in our fan base, and that's probably why they feel the way they do after such a nasty defeat like that. But sometimes these defeats can be good because it showed us on Saturday that, hey, we're not invincible. It's not everything's going to come easy to us. We have to step our game up. We have to play better. We have to coach better. We have to everything that we've been doing, we got to fix it. We got to throw it. Basically, I'm not saying start from scratch, but come with a better strategy. Come with more ferocity. Anger. Now it's our time. It's our turn to have the chip on our shoulder.
Yep. Yeah. I totally agree, and only time will tell with this.
Yeah, and this is whether people think we deserve it or not to be in that 4th spot. All I know is this: we've been given another opportunity to redeem ourselves.
Well, to take it a step back, okay, sure. For people that don't think that Notre Dame deserves to be in there, okay, name me one other team other than Notre Dame that beat the number 1 team in the country this year.
That's a good point. That's a
I
good
mean,
point. And I don't want to hear about what Clemson did have or didn't have. Okay, we were without guys too.
so I mean that's the way I look at that. You know,
Dabo Sweeney himself even made similar comments.
and if it tells you anything, Dabo Sweeney and Nick Saban voted for Notre Dame to be in that fourth spot. Actually, if you want to take it a step further, they voted for Notre Dame to be in the third spot, that they should be the number 3 team in the country. So, according to them, Notre Dame doesn't even go back in ranking after that loss to Clemson in the ACC championship.
Yeah, they both had Ohio State pretty low, like 11, 12, I think.
11th, yes. And I mean, and these are two guys that have won multiple national titles in the CFP.
Exactly. So,
I
so
mean,
I think they know what they're talking about a little
they
bit.
know what they're talking about. They know what it takes. And for them to say, that Notre Dame deserves that third spot, that says something. And it's because they know the grind, they know what you go through, they know, and they put stock in the fact that Notre Dame beat the number 1 team, which was Clemson.
Yeah,
So if you want to talk about who doesn't belong, it's Ohio State. And A&M should be that fourth spot,
yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree.
You know?
It
And
sucks.
they both said that too in their voting. When they put Ohio State at 11th, that shows you everything, that they don't believe that Ohio State belongs there. Now, that's added motivation for Ohio State against Clemson, and I know that Clemson and Ohio State kind of got a rivalry going now, but I mean, that just shows. So,
Well, like I said in the last video, go Clemson in that matchup.
oh yeah, of course. But yeah, I mean, and you got to push all that out. That's who they can think what they want. Notre Dame's in it. The committee said Notre Dame's in it. They got Alabama. Now it's time to rise up. Now it's time to take care of business. And the first step of winning a national title is winning the semifinal. And that is this time against Alabama.
And it's well known we have not won a major bowl game since the 1994 Cotton Bowl when we beat, ironically enough, as we were just talking about, Texas A&M, which actually that was actually back-to-back years when we beat Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl. But I'm digressing here. But since then, it's been pretty rough for us. We've been I believe it's 0-6 in major bowl appearances. We've come close a couple times. I know there was I think it was the '96 Orange Bowl when we played Florida State, lost by 5. We had a couple of close chances with Ohio State. Once in it was the 2006 Fiesta Bowl. We kept it a game for a while. And the same thing again in 2016. Kept it close with them, but just I think, like you said in a private conversation, losing Jalen Smith in that game hurt. But the rest of the appearances have not been good. So
Yeah.
it's time we remedy this. And in this particular case, this is the first time that we'll be playing in the Rose Bowl since 1925, and that was when back then that was when Newt Rockney's team beat Pop Warner's. I think it was Stanford that we beat 27-10 that day. But of course, the Rose Bowl, that's always been, Big Ten, Pac-12, so
It makes sense.
right. So
Right.
so yeah, I mean now that it's part of the rotation, we get a chance to play in it. But
Yep.
but anyway, getting right to the game, the Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, I could probably just say the school and the name, and then we could call this video quits. But no, what can you say about Alabama? I mean, they hands down best team in college football today. They're a juggernaut. They are extremely talented. They pull in five stars galore every single recruiting season.
Like it's not.
Yeah, I mean, this is I guarantee you when it come the day of the playoff announcements on Sunday, they were probably just like, yeah, another day at the office for us. What do we care? We know where we're at. We know what we're gonna do. So, who wants to play checkers, guys?
Yeah. I think Alabama. I think I think they've only missed the playoffs one time, and that was last year, since the playoffs have become, a thing. So that should tell you everything you need to know right there. I mean, to say that they've been in every single playoff except for one, that's impressive. And Alabama's an impressive program. I mean, let's be honest and be frank. I mean, Saban has done an absolutely phenomenal job of keeping a winning culture there. It is easy to get complacent when you're winning. We've seen it in pro sports, we've seen it in college sports. It's easy to say, okay, we've done everything we need to do. No big deal. But for whatever reason, Alabama is always a very, very hungry program. They act like they haven't won a championship in 100 years, and it shows.
Hence a winning culture. And to add on to your point, when you talked about them only missing the playoffs once since the inception of the playoffs in 2014, let's go further than that. When was the last time that they even missed a New Year's Six bowl?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the last time that they did not play in a major bowl game.
Got to go back into the 90s.
Probably, yeah, it was probably before Saban. I mean, I guess I could look it up real quick, but I want to. We're on a roll here, so I want to keep going. But I can't really remember the last time that they didn't play at the very least a New Year's Six bowl game, a major bowl game. They're always in one. So it's been a while since we've last seen them in a lower tier bowl game. So that says a lot about the program in addition to what we already mentioned here. But getting to the game itself, I mean, let's break down what they have. Obviously, you start with the offense. Quarterback Mac Jones, phenomenal quarterback, most likely a first-round pick in the NFL draft. 3,739 passing yards, 32 touchdowns to 4 picks. But this is the key stat right here. He's only been sacked 10 times, so his offensive line is doing one hell of a job for him.
Yes.
And personally, if the Chicago Bears go a different route at quarterback, I wouldn't mind having Mac Jones, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay.
But don't you say any issues about quarterback, because your Dolphins have Tua.
Yeah, I know. I can't say anything about Alabama quarterbacks right now.
Yeah, so you got your Alabama quarterback. Maybe the Bears should take a chance with theirs. And then you look at their running game. I mean, you look at all these guys all the way down the board here. These are all guys that could be number one anywhere else. And
Yes.
of course, the big standout, Najee Harris. I mean,
Yep.
I did watch a little bit of the SEC championship. That guy is a freak if there ever was one. I mean,
Yes.
the Gators had a hard time stopping him, but so has everybody else on Alabama's schedule. I mean, they've been steamrolling everybody. When you look at their schedule, the SEC championship was the closest game they've had all season. Other than that, it's been steamroll after steamroll after steamroll. They've been kicking everybody's ass. But anyway, getting back to the rushing game, Najee Harris, 1,262 yards, almost 6 yards a carry, and 24 freaking touchdowns.
Yes.
Good Lord. But
An
even,
absolute machine.
but even Brian Robinson Jr. and Jace McClellan, I mean, Jace McClellan, he's a freaking true freshman, 245 yards, 10 yards a carry, but of course that's only on 23 carries, 2 touchdowns, but that's still true freshman. I'd say that's pretty damn good. Brian Robinson, the number 2, 404 yards, 5 yards a carry, 6 touchdowns. And these are the backups. These are the freaking backups. I mean, that's
Says something.
yeah, it says a lot. And then of course you got Devontae Smith, who's another one of the Heisman candidates. Phenomenal season that he's having. 1,511 yards on 98 receptions, 15 yards a catch, 17 touchdowns. John Mechie III, 782 yards, 17.8 yards a catch, 6 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle, 4 touchdowns for him, 557 yards. Najee Harris, a threat out of the backfield with 316 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
Slade Bolden, Miller, how do you say his name? Forstall, Jaleel Billingsley, another wide receiver and 2 tight ends, all with 200 yards receiving. I mean, the only one in that group that doesn't have a touchdown is Slade Bolden. So this is a juggernaut offense loaded with firepower.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
it's
really,
like poison when you want to try to stop something. You want to stop the running game or do you want to stop the passing game? Because one of them is going to go off on you. So, yeah, it's going to be a very, very hard matchup. I mean, this will be, one of the best offenses that Notre Dame will see all year. Thankfully, Notre Dame has played Clemson twice, so they know what a high-powered offense that can run the ball and pass the ball looks like. But yeah, Alabama, they don't have many flaws, and they're one of those teams that if you want to beat them, you got to keep pace with them. So it's going to be a shootout if Notre Dame wants to beat the Crimson Tide in Arlington.
yeah. I mean, you can't describe enough how hard of a matchup this is going to be. But hey, maybe you guys can call us homers all you want, but we've admitted that since day one that we're homers. I believe in my guys.
Yep.
I believe in Brian Kelly and Tommy Rees, Ian Book, and everyone on down the line, Kieran Williams, Dalen Hayes. These guys know how to win. And they've won big before already. I mean, we could talk about Clemson in November all day. Granted, it didn't happen in the ACC championship. Okay, fine. They had a stumble. But this is what
Yep.
this is what shows how good of a team you are. Can you rebound from that? Can you learn from that? Can you take the humbling and see what you have to do moving forward? And this also could be a good thing for another reason too, because when at the end of the regular season we found out Wake Forest got canceled, so we got an extra week of rest. Well, maybe that screwed us up a little bit. I don't know, but now since the ACC championship has been played, it's right back to work.
Yep.
Right back to work. So we keep going. We keep in rhythm here, and no taking breaks. I understand Christmas is coming up in a couple days. Maybe they'll have a little break that day, but still, we're in full mode right now. We're in game mode. We're in beast mode.
Yep.
So that could really help us out big time for this game.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know what you need to do to win. Now, go execute because we talk about it every video. I talk about it every video. Okay? If you want to beat the vast majority of teams, there's three things that you need to do. Three. Okay? Limit the mistakes. And when I say mistakes, turnovers. Make big plays, stop big plays.
Exactly.
And the mistakes are penalties. Don't give the team free yards. Don't give your opponent any free yards. You give them the ball back when you have an interception or a fumble. Don't do that. And take advantage of your opportunities because we saw it against Clemson, okay? Notre Dame should have been up 14-0 against Clemson. Should have been. And what were they? They were up 3-0.
Yep, 3-0. We end up missing a chip shot field goal. And that's
Yep.
another thing I want to add too. When you're in the red zone, you have to find that end zone.
Yes.
Because let me tell you something, field goals aren't going to cut it for this game.
No, not against Alabama. And if you want to beat Alabama, okay, if you want to beat them, you got to get to the outside. You got to get to the perimeter.
Yeah, because you notice something from rewatching that game
You know,
against
you
Florida.
you do not want to go up the middle against that Alabama defense. Okay? That line for Alabama is stout. Okay? You want to get in space, you want to get to the outside. And it kills me because we've seen it with this team. We've seen it where it's like, okay, let's run it up the middle, run it up the middle, run it up the middle, run it up the middle.
Yeah.
Why? Like it's not working.
Well, like I said early on, I mean, we have to come into this game with a different strategy because obviously the strategy that we ran against Clemson didn't work, which was the same thing we'd been doing all season. Tommy Rees has to get aggressive with his play calling. This is a game where you let it all out. You
Yep.
let it all out and throw everything you have at Alabama.
Nothing to lose. You have nothing. Okay? You're playing to get to the next round. You pull out every stop against Alabama. Every stop.
Exactly. And like I said, just change the strategy, change the game plan. Just get fierce, throw everything but the kitchen sink at him. But Ben, like I said, you rewatched the SEC championship game against between Alabama and Florida, and you noticed something. You think you have a certain strategy that you think could benefit the Irish in this game.
Yep. Get to the air. Alabama has a good secondary, but not a great secondary. Okay, I noticed that Florida, their chunk plays did not come on the ground. Their chunk plays came in the air. And we have a certain someone, and Notre Dame fans know who he is. We have a certain someone that bullied Clemson both games, in my opinion, and that's Michael Mayer. Okay, you get the ball to Mayer, and you let that freshman, yes, he's a freshman, people, especially for some of you Alabama fans that'll be watching this video. Yeah, he's a freshman, but he does not act like a freshman. He is a man among boys. You get him the ball. If you want to beat Alabama, you beat them in the passing game. And that's how you're going to beat them. It's points on points on points.
Well, you also told me that there was a kid in their secondary that the Gators were really bullying, that you think Notre Dame should do the same.
Brian Branch is a defensive back for Alabama, and I do believe he's a freshman. And I don't know if he's like filling in a spot or if he's just that good and he's starting. But Florida picked on him in that game. And, you know, they really, really kind of gave him fits. Notre Dame's got a target against him. Have to. Because, like I said, if you're going to beat Alabama, you got to keep pace. And the way you beat Alabama, their last like 3 losses, they were high-scoring games. I mean, like 56-49, 49-42, stuff like that. It wasn't no 14-13, 14-10, 6-7, 7-6, whatever you want to say.
Right.
So, yeah.
And we're not trying to say that this kid is bad or anything like that or making fun of him, but just if he's struggling, then you go after who is struggling. It's just common football sense, common strategy. But yeah, regardless, this is definitely going to be a really hard matchup. This is a juggernaut of a team that we're going up against, and we have to, coaching and players, we have to learn from our mistakes. And speaking of freshmen, Ben, and I've said this before, but in our receiving game, where in the hell has Jordan Johnson been?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, everybody's been asking that question this season. Where's he been and where's Lindsey been?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you're not injured, and they haven't said that he has a season-ending injury. So where are you at?
One of our commenters on the last video said that he thought that maybe Johnson was in Brian Kelly's doghouse because of that punch he threw against South Florida. Well, that very well could have been the case, but not for this long. You're not going to be in the doghouse for that long.
Right.
I mean, Brian Kelly's not an unforgiving coach that he's going to just, bench you for the rest of the season because of one mistake. Maybe a couple games, yeah, but not the whole season. But I don't know why this kid's not on the field. Yeah. I mean, he's one of your 5-star recruits that all the fans that are pissing and moaning about in our fan base right now that they say Brian Kelly can't get. Well, this Johnson kid is one of those 5 stars. Put him on the field, especially this year where nothing's going to hurt you because of COVID, where everybody gets a free year.
Right.
So he hasn't been on the field, and like you said, Braden Lindsey, these are key guys, especially Lindsey with the having experience already.
Of speed.
Yes, get them on the field.
Track star type speed, and he's not even playing. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something that we just don't know, and I would assume that's what it is, but yeah, I don't know.
It's possible.
What I do know is I can't wait to see Hamilton against Devontae.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that numbers wise, that looks like a pretty good matchup. Kyle Hamilton, he's come on strong. He came on strong as a freshman. He's having a great sophomore campaign. Devontae, I mean, I read off the numbers. We know how good this guy is.
Holds up for the Heisman, so that just tells you everything. I mean, when you're up for the Heisman, you're a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah, and I think if we can shut down Devontae, that's going to be huge if we're able to do that. But of course, we got to show it on the field. So I don't know, Ben. Is there anything that we're not covering yet?
Nope, we've covered everything
I think we have too. So what'd you say?
except our favorite part.
Yep, score time. Score time. I'm going to let you take the first honors on here.
Okay. Notre Dame 49, Alabama 42.
Oh, we are in the ballpark, my friend. I'm saying if Notre Dame can play a perfect game and match Alabama when they score, Notre Dame 45, Alabama 40.
I like it.
There's
I did.
there's going to be points in this game.
Yes, there are.
There's going to be points. And I can't say this enough, but regardless of what happens, whether what we say happens or whether it's something else, Notre Dame's always going to be my team. I'm always going to back them. Ben, I know you feel the same.
Yep.
Brian Kelly is our coach. Not everybody may like him as a person. Yes, he makes mistakes as a coach, but tell me a coach that doesn't make mistakes. Even Nick Saban's made them, but Dabo Swinney's made them. All the great ones make mistakes. But these are our guys. This is our team. And in a situation like this, when they're coming off a tough loss in a conference championship, going into the national playoff, which a lot of people are criticizing them for, and spotting off all the crap that we mentioned already, this is where a team needs their fans the most in their corner.
Yep.
So I suggest all Notre Dame fans out there watching this, get behind your team, get behind our boys. They need us now. And if you don't have faith that they can win this game, don't follow them anymore. Don't watch on New Year's Day. That's all I can say. So, Ben, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I got nothing, Sean.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. That is Ben and I's preview for the Rose Bowl on January 1st against the Alabama Crimson Tide. And we do have a couple of Alabama fans that do watch the videos. So, to all our Alabama friends,
Good luck.
good luck. Good luck. We wish you guys nothing but the best. But of course, we hope to be saying that after we beat you guys, of course. And I'm sure you feel the same way. But hey, at the end of that game, we're still friends coming out of it. So.
Yep.
So on that note, everyone, I am ND Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And with that said, as always, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Good night, God bless, and Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Go Irish. Beat Alabama.